Hey folks, hope you're having a great Friday wherever you're at. It's been a couple weeks, but it's fun to be back on. I'd like to jump on and talk for a few minutes or so. First, if you haven't read my book, check it out. Sitting with God, A Journey to Your True Self Through Centering Prayer. Has over 201 people reading it on Goodreads. I have 129 and growing Amazon reviews, so thank you so much. So as you read the book, please take a moment to rate it on Goodreads, Amazon, or wherever you've purchased it. And even if you read it quite a while ago, please consider writing a short review. It would be much, much appreciated. So let's jump into how to conquer overwhelm. And I think about it in my perspective, what do I do when I am overwhelmed at work? And it may sound simple, but it works. I create one need-to-do list. I make sure everything that truly needs to be done is on this list. I remove tasks that don't belong. Each morning I look at this list and I pick the top 3 to 5. And I really make certain throughout the day that I get these 3 to 5 things done. And if I get them done, I then move on. and I pick another one and do it, and then pick another one and do it. What else do I do, though, to help myself? Because it can be rather overwhelming when you have a need-to-do list, and mine is huge. It seems to have 30 or 40 items on it. In the morning, I tell myself, I will have a great and productive day. I can handle it. These are kind of affirmations I say out loud to myself to motivate myself, to psych myself up. I will have a great and productive day. I can handle it. And often tasks that I thought were super complicated or difficult really aren't, is what I noticed. They're not as bad as I thought they were. I think we seem to tell ourselves things that are just not true. So I have found some of the things that were on my need-to-do list, that were my must-dos for that day, often are not as bad as I thought they were, or they didn't take as much research. They weren't going to take as long as I thought they were, or I reached out to somebody and talked to somebody to say, help me out here. There's a piece I don't understand here. I do 2 other things, though, to help with overwhelm or with conquering overwhelm. I begin my day with a centering prayer sit, and that's a must. And as part of my centering prayer sit, as I settle into the silence, the first thing I do is visualization. So I'm actually sitting there with my eyes closed, and I'm visualizing the end of the day and the things that I'm going to get done today. I'm visualizing that. And I'm also visualizing long-term goals. And then I let go of this visualization and move into my centering prayer sit. And as when I think about the visualization, to come back to that for a second, I'm seeing them completed. I'm seeing the task completed in my mind. I'm picturing the great and productive day I'm going to have, and I'm picturing in my mind that these 3 to 5 tasks that I know I need to do, I can handle it. They're not going to be that bad, and I'm going to get them done. I'm also visualizing kind of long-term goals in there as well. But then I let go of my visualization and move into my centering prayer sit. And this visualization probably isn't more than a minute, at the most 2 minutes, that I'm doing before I move into my centering prayer sit. Also, to help conquer the overwhelm, I take a second sit during the day. So I stop, usually early afternoon, no matter how busy I am, I stop and I take a second centering prayer sit. And I need this sit. This sit reconnects me to God. It refreshes me. It restarts me. Kind of the interior reserves are burning out, or I might just be tired. I need a break. So I take a second sit no matter how busy I am. And I find that this second sit really is a must. And at the end of the day, at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I look back and I'm always pleasantly surprised and amazed by how productive the second half of the day went. And it's because I took this time to sit with God, reconnect to God, open to the presence and actions of God within, tap into God. Infinite wisdom is within me, and God and I are getting up from the sit and partnering on the second half of the day. So do not underestimate the power of a second sit during the day. I highly suggest it. No matter how busy you are, take the time for the second sit. You need this second sit. It will help you finish the second half of the day as strong as you finish the first half of the day. And then kind of the last thing I do, and it's really right before I go to bed, is I practice gratitude. I simply drop to my knees and I thank God for all the small, medium, and large things that happen throughout the day, whether it's a cup of coffee, the walk I took with my daughter, the tasks I got done at work, the conversation I had with my wife, the pleasant surprises that happened during the day, a friend that may have called and it was a nice conversation I had. I stop and thank God for small, medium, and large things that happened throughout the day. And then I go to bed. So that's how I handle overwhelm, so that I can let go of overwhelm and not let overwhelm me, but rather I conquer overwhelm using affirmations, using centering prayer, using the second centering prayer sit, and using gratitude. That's how I conquer overwhelm. Hope you found this helpful. Feel free to pop over to my website, silenceteaches.com, to subscribe to my weekly emails, and you'll receive my free Centering Prayer ebook, and you can learn more about my book, Sitting with God. Thanks a lot. Much love to all of you. Take care.